Hey dog, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You already know, today I'm about to tell you my favorite things about growing up Caribbean American. Where my Caribbean massive at? Bro, 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 bro. Now, whether you're an OG around here or you're new, you may or may not know that your girl is first generation American. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't know because the Guyana flag is literally all over my social media accounts, and I think it's even on my YouTube channel in the About Me section, but nevertheless, I am first generation American. Both of my parents are from Guyana, South America, but my family's really big, and honestly, like, as you go back in the lineage, we even have roots in Barbados and Trinidad and so on and so forth. I have family in Jamaica, Antigua, St. Lucia, Belize, Trinidad, like I said, Guyana, I mean, so on, so forth. We all over the place. We in here, okay? We're global. So, with June being Caribbean American Heritage Month, I did want to just share some things that I love about growing up Caribbean American. Now, last year I did 2 videos in honor of Caribbean American Heritage Month. I did 1 video sharing 10 facts about Guyana, just in general, and then interesting facts about my family. Make sure you check that out. And I also shared a video just about like things that I've learned about growing up Caribbean American. So both of those videos are in the description box down below. Click those links, spam, loop, do all of the things. And let's go ahead and dive into this video. The first thing I love about growing up Caribbean American is that community is everything. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in family here too. Community and family is everything. It's a very communal society. You know, in the States, you notice the difference, especially when you are first generation American, when your parents are from somewhere else, you can notice the cultural differences. And obviously it ebbs and flows here. You know, some people have a more communal experience in the US than other people, but for the most part, it's a very like me, myself, and I society in the US. It's like every man for himself. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You gotta get it for you because I gotta get it for me. It's generally not an overarching sense of community here. But in the Caribbean, and particularly in Guyana, it's very communal. So it's normal for you to look out for your neighbor. You know, if your neighbor is raising chickens and you have, you know, a mango tree in your backyard, you're gonna give them some mangoes every month and they're gonna give you a chicken or something every month. Like it is what it is. It's not like you're giving it to get something in return, but it's just like if I have, then how dare me not look out for my neighbor who might not have as much as me. My aunt, she has a really big house in Guyana, and she basically is raising one of her neighbor's teenage daughters because her neighbor doesn't have the resources to really like raise the daughter like that and give her certain opportunities. And so my aunt took her in, like was like, yeah, she can live with us, you know, we'll make sure she goes to school, we'll make sure that she gets everything that she needs, and she's not looking for anything in return. It's not like you gotta pay me or I'm going to only keep her until this amount of time and you got to get this and this and this together, and then you're on your own and you got to take her back. It's like however long you need us to keep her, we got you. So I love the fact that it's very communal. I also love the fact that it's very family oriented. Like I had done videos in the past about how living in a multi-generational home is normal in the Caribbean. Across the Caribbean, you don't see people moving out until they get married or unless they get a job that takes them way out of the way, like to another part of the country or out of the country altogether, or if their family has a lot of land and they're like, I'm going to build me a little house on this land and that's it. But it's not the thing to move out. So in the States, it's like once you turn 18, you got to get your own. Even if you're sleeping on an air mattress and eating ramen for the next 5 years, you got your own. That's not how it is in the Caribbean. It's like, honestly, and with the really old-fashioned Caribbean people or certain countries, it's looked down upon for a woman to move out before she's married. It's like, oh, she moving out so she can be loose. You know, that's like the connotation in certain countries and in certain subcultures in the Caribbean. But either way, even if that's not what people are thinking, it's just not frowned upon for you to stay with your parents, even when you're well into your adulthood, in your 20s, or sometimes even your 30s if you're not married yet. People still work and they have good careers. Some of them are doctors, nurses, teachers, in banking, all sorts of stuff. But it's like, why am I running out to go get my own place when we could pool our resources together? Group economics, look it up. It is powerful, okay? So it's very much about group economics. It's very much about like, let's look out for our neighbor. You know, family is everything. Family is your first priority. Like your parents are going to, of course, I'm painting with a broad brushstroke here because there's always exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, your parents are going to look out for you. They're going to have your back. Like it's just that kind of society. And I love that because I knew that no matter what happened in life, I can always come back home. Like my parents did not not want me to move out. When I moved out and got my own place, my mom cried. And y'all know Mama Martin don't be crying in these streets, okay? My mom is not a crier. She's not like, oh my gosh, I spilled the milk type. Like, she doesn't cry and get super emotional about anything. So when she came in my room and I was like, yeah, like I got a place, I'm super excited about to have my own. She sat on the bed, she was like, how did I fail you? Why are you moving out? Did I do something wrong? Like, tell me what I need to do. And I was like, I just want to experience something on my own. Like, I love y'all. You didn't do anything. She was so upset, but she helped me buy my furniture. She made sure she had a key to my place, so if anything happened, she could come in, make sure it's cool. She still gave me my space. It's not like she was there, like I would come home and she's just on the couch chilling. But you know, it was like a constant, like, you know, making sure that I'm safe and all that. And they told me all the time, you ain't gotta move out. Like, if you need to stay, stay. We good. As long as you're doing something with your life, you are free to stay. And they always gave me that option. So I always knew no matter what, I didn't have to suffer in this world alone. If I have nobody else, I have my parents and I have my relatives overseas. If they were in the States, they'd be able to do more. Just because of the exchange rate, you know, they tend to make less than us and the cost of living there is so much cheaper. But I'll have to do another video on that. But they give whenever they're able to give. And I just love the fact that I know I don't have to journey this out alone. Like, I got a community around me and a bunch of family that are basically friends that turn into family that I could turn to in a time of need if the going really gets tough. So the community aspect is everything to me. It's a community for me, sis. The second thing I love about growing up Caribbean American is the food. Y'all, this is why I have struggled in my health journey. Living with Mama Martin is torture because she always is throwing down. I'm just like, I'm here trying to live my best healthy life, portion control, maybe a keto or intermittent fast here or there. And here comes my mom making bacon saltfish, curry and roti, oxtail, this, that, the third, rice and peas, curry and rice and cook up rice and listen. And I'm just like, don't even get into the snacks, the cheese roll, the pilori, oh my gosh, it's so good, y'all. But the food is everything. And the one thing I love about Guyana in particular is that we have food throughout our regular cuisine that represents each part of our ethnic heritage. So we have I think 5 or 6 main ethnic groups in Guyana. So it's African descent, Indian descent, meaning from India, Amerindian, which is the indigenous people, which would also be called Native Americans, Chinese, Portuguese, and then European. So 6 altogether. And we have food that represents all of that. So the national dish, pepper pot, is actually an Amerindian, aka Native American dish, and it's made with cash rib. And the older the dish is, the better it tastes. Honestly, it's so good. It's made every Christmas in a Guyanese household. It's not Christmas in a Guyanese household if you don't have pepper pot, flatbread, and garlic beef or pork. Period. Like, you didn't have Christmas if you don't have those 3 things. And then, of course, you got the garlic pork or beef, which is a Portuguese thing. You've got cook-up rice, which is of African descent. Most of the population in Guyana is of Indian descent, again, from India, the country, because I know people tend to use that interchangeably with Native American, but no, we're talking India. And so we eat a lot of Indian food, curry, the different types of roti. You got paratha roti, dal puri, sada roti. You got all sorts of stuff. You know, we make pilori. We have the dal. We have literally so many different types of Indian food that we eat, and so on and so forth. And then Guyanese Chinese food, that roast duck though, oh my gosh, y'all, this is so good. The way that they make their fried rice, like, y'all, you will not go to Guyana and starve. The food is delicious. It is super affordable. Like, just to give you an idea of how affordable it is and how cheap it is to live in Guyana real quick, because I know I said it's another video. You can go to this bakery in Buxton, where the village my mom grew up in, and you can buy a whole bag full of pastries. What we call pastries are like cheese rolls, Solara, tennis rolls, butterflap, not sweets, but actual like appetizer type stuff. You can buy a whole bag of that for 800 Guyana dollars, which is $4 US, because it's 200 Guyana dollars to $1 US. So for $4 US, you can get a whole bag of pastries. I'm talking a shopping bag worth, a Walmart size bag of pastries. Whereas here, $4 will get you a beef patty, maybe with a cocoa bread. It depends on where you go. It depends on where you go, but $4 is only gonna get you a beef patty and maybe a drink. And so that goes to show how cheap it is. You can go and eat. I literally went out to a karaoke bar with my sister, my aunt and my cousin last time I was in Guyana. And I bought a fried fish platter with plantain fries for $5 US. And they brought out a big platter heaping with fries, and I got literally about 8 pieces of fried fish. It was enough for all of the 3 of us to eat and be full, and I paid $5 US for that. That's how cheap it is in Guyana, particularly. Each country has their own exchange rate. But either way, that was a long tangent. The food is everything, and I love the fact that I grew up in both cultures, where not only did my parents know how to make the Guyanese food, but they also learned over the years how to make soul food. So I got the best of both worlds, and there's so many delicious cuisine choices in Guyanese culture that you will never be bored on what to eat. The third thing I love about growing up Caribbean American is the fun. Caribbean culture is known generally for being very fun. We are a very celebratory culture. We are going to celebrate. I don't care if it's you having a baby or buying a new house or you getting good grades or just, you know, getting a nice dress for New Year's. I don't care what it is. We are going to find a reason to celebrate. Everything is celebrated. When I was growing up, every good grade that we got, we went out to dinner. If we had just a great school year, we got a vacation for that or some sort of party. Baby showers were long events. It wasn't like here in the States, typically a baby shower would be like 2 hours, maybe 3, maybe 4, depending on the type of crowd or what you want to do at that shower. A Caribbean baby shower is probably going to go all day into the night, and it's really an excuse for the adults to party and talk and eat and have their beers and do whatever they're trying to do, and the kids are like playing in the house, and then they just put them in a room to sleep when they get tired. Like, our parties are long. We never had an ending time to our parties when I was growing up. Like, typically when my friends would invite me to their events, they'll be like, oh, the party's from 8 to 10, or excuse me, it's from 7 to 9. But our parties, it was like starting at 7 until you want to leave. If that's 3 in the morning, it's cool. We here. We turn it up. We having a good time. And it wasn't uncommon for people to like fall asleep in our basement. We always had extra sheets and like some pull-out beds or, you know, sleeping bags or whatever. Like, that's just how Caribbean culture is. It's like, it's very laid back. And that's another one of my points I'm gonna get to. But the fun is everything. Like, we're very lively. We love to celebrate. We love to enjoy life. It's like, you only got one life to live, so you might as well go big or go home. And that's why a lot of people like to vacation in the Caribbean too, because when you land there or when you sail in, if you're taking a cruise or whatever, like, you can just sense the change the minute you get off the dock or you get off the plane. You can literally see the difference. It's a lot of fun, and that's just how it is. We find the joy in anything. It could be the simplest thing. We're gonna find the joy in it. We're gonna make it a celebration. We're gonna make it a lot of fun, and our personalities tend to be very like animated and really like, you know, just lively and stuff for the most part. So I love that. I love the fact that it's literally never a dull moment. We're known for carnivals. You know, Trinidad really originated that, but now it's all over the Caribbean, all over the world. Literally millions of people a year travel to each of these things, and they are huge money makers. And Carnival is nothing but fun. You know, we're known for having fun. If you want to have fun, get you a Caribbean in your event. It's going to be fun, period. Fourth thing I love about growing up Caribbean American, this is going to sound really selfish and honestly privileged, but hey, it is what it is. I'm sharing my truth. I have 2 homes. Honestly, I have more than 2 because, like I said, my family's spread all throughout the Caribbean now. But I have at least one other country that I can go to and I can be considered to be home. Like, meaning I have people there that I know the culture, I'm familiarized with it. I can navigate my way around. It won't be so much of a culture shock. I mean, obviously, if you're moving from country to country, you're going to have at some point a culture shock in some way, shape, or form. But it's not going to send me over the edge. It's just going to be like, okay, yeah, like, this is a little different than the States, but hey, like, it's cool. I already anticipated this and I can navigate it. I've got land and real estate in this place. You know, I have options. And now that my family is spread throughout the Caribbean, I can go to Jamaica. I can go to Belize. I can go to St. Lucia. I could go to these places and be like, I want to build myself a home. And I've got at least an aunt or a cousin or somebody, some family friends there that can just like take me under their wing and make sure I'm good. And the reason why I love that is because it makes the world seem so much bigger. It makes the possibilities so much more endless. I know at any minute I can just make a phone call and be like, I want to come live there. And my aunt or whoever is going to be like, okay, yeah, like, I got a spare room. You can stay here. It's cool. Like, you know, I can literally go spend that time to find myself if I want. I can reinvent myself. And I love having that option because a lot of times people want to live in other countries, but they don't know where to start. They don't have the resources, or they're just not sure like how to go about it. But for me, that's like a direct access. It cuts out a lot of the middleman. It cuts out a lot of the stress. And it opened my eyes to just understanding that there's a whole big world out out there, and everything doesn't begin and end just in the United States, if that makes sense. So, you know, I absolutely love the fact that I had that experience of growing up in two cultures where I can value what I get in Caribbean culture while still valuing what I get in American culture, and bridging the gap and saying like, hey, like, I got options here. I don't have to stay here if I don't want, okay? Atlanta don't have to keep me, all right? I can go anywhere, and I can pretty much make a life for myself, even outside the Caribbean, to be honest, because I got family in England too. So I can go to England and be like, hey, I'm here, what's up, you know? And now I got a lot of my Delle dolls in England too. So it's just a great thing to experience. A lot of Caribbean people have a home or two back in their home country, and they still have a home in the States or Canada or England or wherever they have migrated to. So that's a privilege that a lot of people just can't say that they have, to be able to say that they've got some sort of international real estate and some sort of dual citizenship and perks in both countries. Okay, won't he do it? God is good. Okay, so the last thing that I love about growing up Caribbean American, because this video was already long enough, is the fact that we have a very laid back way about it. So I had alluded to this earlier, but generally speaking, again, because there's always an exception to the rule, you always got to put these disclaimers because people will take things and just take it all the way left, you know, but generally speaking, we tend to be more laid back. We don't sweat the small stuff. We tend to more go with the flow. We're okay with things not really going the way that we thought. Like, if you ever visit the Caribbean, especially like when you get into the real Caribbean, like outside of the resorts or whatever, which if you ever get a chance to do it, just so that you can see how the locals live. But even on the resorts, you'll see this. People don't really think too far into the future. They plan, you know, they have their future plans, they have their goals, they have their to-do list, but generally it's like, we just gonna take each day as it comes. You know, we got enough worry for today. Tomorrow will worry about itself. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And it's more of a like a laid back, almost nonchalant kind of way of living. Like, you don't see them getting in a tizzy if things aren't going how they thought. You know, you don't see them really battling with things like anxiety or stress to the level that we do in the States. Do they battle with it? Of course. I'm not saying all of the Caribbean is just carefree and doesn't have mental health issues or nothing like that. Like, we have our problems, trust and believe. But I'm just saying, like, overall, it's not to the level that you see in the US, because the cultures and the societies are different. Like, people do prioritize their rest. They do prioritize having fun. They do prioritize, or at least make these things some sort of importance in their daily lives. Even if it's not like every day I'm going to turn up and just have fun and just rest and stuff, they make it a priority to incorporate it into their life at some point. So they are going to spend their Sundays laid back, go to church, eat dinner with your family, go to the seawall and relax, or just sit out on the veranda, which is the front porch, and relax. Like, you know, Sundays are very low key, or they're going to actually go out on a Saturday and spend time doing something that they love to do. Like, it's just super laid back. Like, honestly, every time I'm in the Caribbean visiting my family, I'm like, what stress? What was I stressed about? Like, life is great. Life is great. I feel rejuvenated. I feel recharged. You know, even simple things like waking up to the sound of the rooster crowing in the morning and the sea breeze coming through the windows. And, you know, it's just everything. The sunlight, the vitamin D. Look, I'm missing it. I'm like, I gotta book me a ticket, because I'm sitting here talking about it. I'm like, you know, let me text my aunt after this and be like, so, you feel like having a visitor? But Christian had a blast last time he went to Guyana, which was 2017. He was a year. It's just so much fun. Like, a lot of the cares and just the overhaul and the weights that we carry on our shoulders in life here, you don't face that in the Caribbean. Like, not to this extent. Of course, like I said, people get stressed, people deal with things, but it is nowhere near to this extent. So that is a blessing of having exposure to that too, and just learning to carry myself in that way. You know, those of you who have been following me a while, you know, I'm generally a pretty laid back person. Like, I have my own battles, you know, I have my battles with anxiety, I have all of that, but it's not as bad as it probably would have been had I not been exposed to these just strategies and ways of living and these different outlooks of life. So that is one thing I love. I absolutely love how laid back we can be, and just how we don't allow the small things to get to us. So in closing, that's all that I had to share with you. I hope that you enjoyed these tips. These are just 5 things that I can think about in my own life that I really love about being first generation American and growing up Caribbean American. I really am at the intersection of 2 cultures, and there are things I love about both, and there are things that I feel like both can use some work on, but such is life. So, you know, that's my story. If you're also Caribbean American, or if you have a friend that's Caribbean American and you like anything about the culture, comment it down below. Share this video with your Caribbean American friends. Spend spend this month learning about Caribbean American heritage. Like, if you don't know about it, feel free to ask me questions in the comments. I would love to just answer your questions and share more, particularly, like I said, about Guyanese culture. But that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you on the live stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Bye.